So Juby 28 says, I know y'all seen Rattler win MVP of the Senior Bowl. Hashtag go Gamecocks. All right. So sure, he done brought up the Senior Bowl to me. You know, hot running that thing right there. Well, let me find out was you in production meetings? It's like he was in production meetings, bro. He might have been in production meetings. All right. But yeah, man. Shout out to Spencer Rattler. Shout out to the Senior Bowl. Deke, it was quarterbacks out there.
They were terrible.
Oh, nah, they terrible. Oh, that's crazy.
They were pretty bad.
That's crazy.
If Spencer Rattler won the MVP of the Senior Bowl, you know the quarterback
Kenny
play
Pickett was
down.
in it Kenny Pickett was in there a couple years ago. You ain't say that when it was Kenny. You was over there like, yo,
I don't
Kenny
think he
look
won
great.
MVP.
Nah, he did it, but you still was like hyping it up. So it was like, yo, don't be getting those.
He only had like one drive.
He scored an opening drive.
I think he did, right? Didn't he go like 6 of 6?
You talking about Kenny?
Yeah.
Yeah, and now Spencer Rattler did too, though. Spencer Rattler opened the drive, Bob, and then took the big boy shot downfield, man.
Yeah, he looked the best of the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But after him and like Bo Nix looked all right, and then after that it was atrocious. Yeah. Sam Hartman, holy hell, and then Milton, TG's boy, a couple picks. He showed some flash. I mean, it's kind of like that A. Rich effect. Like you see the arm, you see the talent, but then he made terrible decisions on those interceptions. Yeah. And then that guy they're projected in the third round. What's his name? Pratt.
Yeah, out of Tulane.
He didn't show me anything either. Penix sat out. So it was a boring game, dude. I saw one comment because I was watching some of the stuff back on YouTube. I saw one comment on there. Dude was like, "I'm 67 years old and this is the worst Senior Bowl I've seen in my lifetime."
Shoot, man, I looked at it like this, man. If you went in there just focus on quarterback play, then yeah.
The defense, I mean, if you want to go flip side, the defenses look good.
So that's why
secondary look good.
But think about it. With all the perception around the Senior Bowl, it was terrible because the quarterbacks played bad. That's all I'm saying. I'm like, nah, bro. I thought them linebackers out there was hooping. Straight up, man. There's a couple of them LBs. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to have to look at these dudes a little bit more now because that could definitely help us potentially, man. So I was liking some of that, man. But to me, man, when I looked at the quarterbacks, Milton, I get it. I definitely get it. But the big thing is,
I think he'd be perfect for 4th or 5th round now. TG's talking
he's saying first. I don't want it in the first.
But, Milton throwing those picks could actually help us if we're targeting that late quarterback to get an actual guy with some talent like Milton.
Like, because he has all the intangibles. And it's like when you watch him play, it's like you see exactly why he is who he is right now.
He missed that one in the flat. Like
bro, it was
5 yards away.
But you look at him, and it goes back to the fundamentals, too. I'm looking like, okay, you crazy athletic, but when it's time to throw on the run, your feet, you're tangled up, jumping, and it's like you said, you're missing easy routine throws. But then you see him like step back in rhythm, 1, 2, 3, and rocket a cannon. You like, oh, you got that too. But very inconsistent. But yeah, I thought that he had definitely probably the most talent just on him, man. So like I said, I definitely get the hype surrounding him, man. But starting with Spencer Rattler though, if it wasn't so like, if he was looking like as an early dude, I don't hate what I saw from him, man. Like we said, man, he's definitely redeemed himself from, the first go around when everything happened in terms of Caleb Williams taking the spot and him getting benched and then transferring. I do think he's a lot better than that. I think he's a lot more mature than that.
He actually had decent statistical seasons with South Carolina, right?
Yeah, it was just he came from having this type of hype to like you fall down, and now it's like, all right, you try and build it back up.
And then he didn't elevate South Carolina like that to where you know, they were back into being like a top 25 ranked team. Like he
played
solid.
well though.
Right.
I will say this though, I do like just in terms of the basic stuff, and this goes back to when we talked about even why people have issues with Kenny. Not enough of the routine throws, crossing routes, stop routes, ins and outs. I do feel like Rattler had the most consistent touch on those type of throws, hitting the backs in the flat, comebacks, and then obviously, like I said, the deep ball that he threw for the touchdown past the cat from Georgia. I was like, are all Georgia wide receivers big, fast, and could jump out the gym? Like, this cat, I'm like, who is this dude? Ramsey Jackson. It's crazy.
Yeah, whatever guys you bring up throughout this conversation too, you might have to like tell me what school they're from because I was just going off the helmet.
Seriously, bro, I'm with you, bro. Trust me, I was like, I had to write them down in parentheses.
Someone brought up Cedric Gray. The only reason I know him
like
is because
Cedric
I
Gray
looked at some of those linebackers beforehand. Remember, but
so for me, man, in terms of the linebackers, I liked Cedric Gray a lot. I thought he was very productive versus the run and the pass. 6'1", 232. Athletic, though. You know what I mean? Definitely played well in space. Definitely looked comfortable in space. But like I said, man, seeing him in some of his Tampa 2 stuff, I thought was impressive because that's obviously what we run a lot of. And in that game, they were either man, Tampa 2, cover 3. It wasn't a lot of for anything exotic. You know what I mean? So with that, you really got a chance to see, can he man cover or can he read and react or can he run the alley? I thought Cedric Gray did a really good job. The other linebackers that I was kind of impressed with, Jackson Sermon, the cat from Cal. His father was actually the DC in Cal these past couple of seasons. Another dude, 6'2", 235. I thought that he looked comfortable in space. I still kind of prefer him in the box more, but he made a couple of plays out in space where you're like, all right, that's kind of impressive right there. Like almost like when we talk, not even to the extent of like a Landon Roberts. Like I think he's more comfortable than that. But to me, it was just surprising. I'm like, all right, you do move well enough in comparison to some of these other guys. Other dude that kind of stood out was where's my man at? From Mississippi State. He was my favorite, Nathaniel Wilson. He was definitely my favorite. 6'2", 244, dope size, athletic as set, stupid productive. Like he made a ton of plays in the game. Also was very productive in the SEC. Was the defense player of the year. 130 something tackles, 10 sacks, 7 QB hits, like all from the inside linebacker position. I don't know, but when I looked at him, he reminded me of J.O.K.
I don't even recognize the name.
To me, he looked like J.O.K. to an extent. That small, like he looked smaller than what he was, but they had him weighing in at 244. I'm like, bro, you move really well for you to be that size, or at least that's what they said he weighed. I didn't think he was that big, but he moved really well in space.
What's his name?
Nathaniel Watson.
Watson.
Yeah. Like I said, that was the guy for me that kind of stood out the most, man. Like, I liked him a lot. I thought that he could play the run really good. I thought that he dropped in coverage really good. He had some zone plays, had a big hit, good target area, hitting, not head and neck area, but still able to be explosive. And I thought that he also had good effort. I saw one play where he blitzed, kind of got blocked up, quarterback scrambles plays outside. He's the one making it, 7-8 yards downfield. When you're talking about an all-star game, typically this when you're not in the best of shape, so you don't see that type of effort. So if a dude is showing that effort in these type of games, I just feel like that also is a testament to his conditioning as well.
Yeah, like this is the type of him or Cedric Gray.
Yeah, like I like both of them. I thought that Cedric Gray.
If we don't draft Trotter early, I think we gotta get someone. Who was it last year? Like the Marvin Overshown.
Yeah, he was another one. Yeah,
Trenton Simpson. We thought he was gonna go first round. Ended up going in the third, but like we need that type of guy. The Isaiah Simmons prototype, the athletic linebacker type. Yeah. Because I'm guessing. I mean, it's early, but if we go O-line, cornerback, O-line, first like 3 rounds, 2 rounds, whatever. Yeah. And I think that athletic inside linebacker that we got to just get in the system and hopefully develop him. Yeah, I mean, him or Cedric Gray, man, right now. But that would be my target for like a third round.
I would agree. I was like early on. I haven't even looked to see where they should go in the draft. I haven't even watched a full. Like this was my first game watching those
Gray
dudes.
Might bump up to the second round. They had him going like third in some of the mocks and projections I saw.
I would just say the way that those dudes move in space in today's NFL, that's what you're looking for. Like literally, I remember I was writing in the notes. I was just like, today's prototype.
Sure.
Because that is the new wave. They want them low 230s, almost high 220s that can fly sideline to sideline, but still can pack enough punch to get downhill. And that's why when I looked at Cedric Gray, when I looked at Nathaniel Watson, I'm like, bro, both of these dudes have the ranginess, but they also get downhill, and they're really good against the run. I thought that Sermon was also good against the run. I just didn't think that he was as dynamic in coverage as those two dudes, where I thought that they were just more rangy.
Yeah, the one thing about Gray, whenever I looked at him before, was his tackling wasn't the greatest at North Carolina. But I think didn't he end up with 7 tackles or something in the Senior Bowl? Because his main thing is coverage. But you're saying this dude Watson, like the tackling. Watson, I'm looking at this grade on him. They got him as like 100% on the tackling. Almost.
Yeah, like I said, he was the way watching him in the game. I loved what I saw, and then just. When they were talking about some of what he did even at Mississippi State, I have to go back and watch another game of him and like at Mississippi State now. But that's kind of how I looked at the Senior Bowl this year. I'm like, well, let me just watch it, and whoever pops off the screen will make some notes, and then from there, that's who we'll decide. All right, let me go look back at this cat. But them two dudes definitely.
I'm seeing day 3 on Nathaniel Watson.
Well, that's what I got to watch more. Heck yeah.
Hopefully, that's unfortunate because if you're talking about him like this, he gets more buzz.
Might start going up. Yeah, it's gonna push him up.
We need him to be a sleeper, selfishly for us. But for him, he wants to rise up the charts.
He could have just had a good Senior Bowl, bro. You feel me? He could have just had a good Senior Bowl. I just need to go see it. That's why I said I've only watched the Senior Bowl game.
Yeah.
I need to now. I'm gonna go back and watch him in like a regular game. I just didn't want to start watching random dudes if I'm like, bro, you ain't even like that. But it's like, yo, I kind of was impressed. Now the dude that the commentators swore by, and this is Charles Davis. I didn't see him because he didn't play in the game, but I'm going to go back and watch him. Also, they said Peyton Wilson from NC State. He's supposed to be another one of those, like, you could plug and play type inside linebackers. I haven't checked him out. I haven't seen him on tape. He didn't play in the game. Jackson Powers was another guy. Obviously, that's offensive line, but he didn't play in the game. They had, like, their list of guys that they viewed as pro-ready or guys that could just come in. But since they were talking inside linebackers, that was one of the ones. And like I said, I haven't watched him just yet. But Peyton Wilson was the other guy that they said that he was probably the best of all of them.
What do you think about these dudes sitting out?
I'm not against it, honestly, because you're talking about the biggest evaluation, the biggest job interview of your life. And it's not just a one-day thing. It's a full off-season thing. You're evaluated from the time your senior season starts to the time it ends, or that final season. Then from there, whatever all-star game you're going to go to, not just the game, the practices. And the GMs, coaches, and scouts will tell you the practices are way more important than the game because they know practice, we're seeing, number one, can you take concepts, techniques, and actually implement them one-on-one versus a talented guy? Whereas in the games, it's just a different flow. I can only call certain calls. We rotating players in and out. You've only worked on this concept or this defense now for a couple of days, and you might have been a 3-4 guy. We teaching you 4-3. So it's just different. Whereas that's a part of the evaluation. So that's why guys will do the practice part, but not take the risk of, man, if I play in this game and it just doesn't fit me schematically, or if I play in this game and I get hurt, that's another part. An injury at this time of year kills your draft stock. Injury at the combine, pro day, kills your stock. So you're just real selective with what you want to put out there, how much you don't want to put out there. I thought just in this game, right? Michael Penix versus Bo Nix versus Sam Hartman. All three went down there, all three practiced. Penix didn't even dress for the game. He's the most established of all of them, though, right? Bo Nix played a series because he felt like, you know what, I'm going to play a little bit, but I don't need to come out here and play all this. Sam Hartman was going to play the whole quarter, the whole game. But if you think about where they are viewed and how they're ranked, it's like, yo, it makes sense that the guy who had the most to prove, he's the guy that wants to play in more of this stuff. So for me, All-Star game-wise, I remember I wanted to play it every snap. But it's dudes that came from bigger schools. They're like, yo, I don't need to do this.
Right.
Combine, I want to do every single drill to put my numbers out there versus everybody. But if you coming from the SEC, shoot, this a lose-lose, right? I either look great and I'm supposed to look great, or this small school guy got better numbers than me, and that's going to be a knock on me. So you deal with a lot of that also. So that's why I'm just like, I get why some of them would sit out, because they just don't feel like it's necessary, or they don't want to put anything that could hurt their stock out there. Because it's a lot that goes into these evaluations, man.
Right.
Think about how we all saw Sam Hartman, man. He looked bad. I agree. Towards the back end, it looked bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad throws. You're like, bro, all right, I get it early on. You want to be aggressive. Now you're just being reckless. You're not reading this defense, and you getting beat by cover 3. This ain't even a hard concept. They showing a 2-high show. They morphing to 3. It's an all-star game. It only took a couple cents, so you realize, all right, bro, look, if they showing that, they moving to this. They show this, they going back to that, bro. It ain't hard. But when you see him make some of the mistakes that he made, he can't take that back now. You saw it, I saw it, the coaches, them GMs. So it's like, those are going to be certain things that when you're just making these decisions on, do you take him in this round or do you wait around? That's the type of stuff that you kind of deal with. So that's why I was like, I could totally understand why some of them dudes didn't want to play in the game, or why they would sit out, because it's like, it can almost hurt you more than it can help. Michael Penix. Michael Penix could have thrown for 300 yards in that game. It wouldn't have moved the needle one way or the other for us. But if he go out there and have 2 picks and look bad, or if he got hurt, got hit the wrong way, it's just like, for him specifically. Hartman, you need to play again. You might go win another ball games too, bro. Just redeem yourself, bro. You need to throw it to combine.
That would be funny.
You need to go throw it to combine, go throw it to pro day, go do all that stuff.
What's the
man.
next one?
Yeah, well, East-West already happened, so he need to go get NFL PA bowl. I think they got one coming up, bro. He need to go get another bowl game, bro. He need to just another, put something else on tape. Cause
UFL, you can.
Yeah, the tape was not as hot as it should have been. Joe Milton tape wasn't as hot either. He just got all the sexy features. So it's like, it's one or the other. You either look the part.
Milton will get drafted.
Because he got all the features. They was saying Anthony Richardson, Cam Newton. I'm like, I get it. And that's why I get why TG loves it. I get it. Because they're on the mindset of if you can develop it, then you have the God tier at that position. Big on frame, athletic across the board, you got it. But this is one of the hardest positions to play in the National Football League and one of the hardest positions to actually develop in this the National Football League. So you just taking a chance, man.
Yeah.
Big chance.
Do you have anything else on the game or anything else you wanted to highlight?
Actually, let me pull it up real quick, man. There was a couple of receivers, man, that kind of stood out to me. Well, shoot, they shouldn't have stood out. Or I guess it shouldn't be a surprise. Let me say it that way. But homie from Georgia, Lad McConkey, yo, son got routes on routes on routes, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was like one of my first times, like I said, because, you know, like I said, during the season, like, you might watch the game, but I don't, like, watch it to that. But, like, watching him out there, man, and then going back and looking at some of his Senior Bowl practice tape, the routes were stupid out there, bro. Like, good, you know what I mean, in terms of just in and out the breaks, explosive, like, all the little stuff that you want to see. And catch that rock, man. Quarterback ain't help him out at all. Quarterback ain't doing no favors. But I definitely liked him. I thought that he stood out. Luke McCaffrey as well. I said, don't be surprised if he's a name that starts circling because he's a bloodline.
Oh, definitely for us.
It's a bloodline. You know how we feel about
Absolutely,
it. I put NFL pedigree bloodline. He got daddy. He got brother. It's just family on family on family. That's just an NFL thing, all right? So, yeah, Ed McCaffrey,
Perfect.
Christian
Sixth
McCaffrey.
round pick for us.
Heck yeah, man. Got a good field zone versus, man, when he's playing in that slot. Got good size on him. 6'1", 202, okay? Don't be surprised. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised, all right? But I liked him. Other dude that kind of jumped off the screen to me was Javon Baker out of UCF. Big wide receiver, 6'1", 208. He's an outside receiver. But he run dope routes, though. And that was the thing that I also liked. I'm like, anytime I get a chance to see a big dude in this part of when we talk GP, it's like, GP, you big, but can you get these routes? Can you get in and out of these breaks? That was one of the things that did kind of jump off the screen to me with Javon, just in the sense of, man, if we're going to potentially move on from an Allen Robinson or whatever that room looks like, right, who else are we looking at potentially bringing them in? So that's kind of, you know, the thought process of just some of these names at the position and because they look good in the game, right? A D-line cat, too, that we should probably be speaking at.
Which one?
Gabe Hall from Baylor. Big cat, 6'5", 290, twitchy. Good hands, athletic. I'm looking at that in the sense of we got a DeMarvin Lee out here. They almost identical body type. When we talking about, all right, what's the next thing? If this doesn't do it, how do we push it a little bit? Thought that he had some plays out there that did also flash in the Senior Bowl. So he's another one I'm going to go back and look at as well. Because I was like, you know what, man? I like how you moved. I like, you know, you making some plays against double teams, making plays against, you know, pass rush and stuff like that. Just want to see that versatility. And like I say, he was showing enough of it, so he's another one of them ones, man.
There was a couple guys that people were keeping tabs on and related to the Steelers. The one was there was a Florida State D lineman. He had to like switch teams. Played pretty good in the game. And then the dude from Ohio State, I think his last name's Hall too. Yeah. But yeah, those were just some other names that I saw out there.
No, without it. And I see the chat. Yeah, they rocking with Lad. They like Lad McConkey, the cat from Georgia. Yeah. I'm like, yo, hey, shout out to you. Kenny Pickett is the biggest bust. That wasn't your name initially, but yes, I believe that it came up that, he was one of the ones that dropped it. There's a lot of y'all that were on that because, like I said, I was not. I was late to the party, but shout out to him,
the corners look good. I
would agree,
I really liked some of the corners. Now, they're really talking up this Toledo dude, Quinyon Mitchell.
I gotta go back and look at him.
They're saying
pay more attention to him then. Yeah.
Late first. He was graded as like the best cornerback throughout the week by the opposing receivers.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know how he did. I can't remember how he did in the senior. I don't remember him getting torched or anything. Yeah. But then you had that one dude had the 2 picks in the game. What was where was he from? Washington State. Yeah. Do you have that name? I don't. He had a 2-name last name.
Because look,
Louisville dude got a pick.
Look,
too.
I had the cat from Oregon who had the pick, the Evan Smith. Because Evan Williams, I liked him. He the one who had the. I think it was the last. No, he had the first pick on Milton. No, the one that was in the end zone. Yeah, because Milton did the rollout and threw it late. Yeah, and we got a chance to see my man. He covered some ground. I was like, all right, if you making that play, you get your name wrote down. Dang.
Some people are saying Kalen King went down a little with his stock.
Yeah.
he had a not so good of a week.
But he's a bigger name too, and he's one of the ones where you gotta be careful.
He has the room to go down,
right?
Because he's projected like late first.
Yep.
Late first, early second.
And in them type of situations, if you're not the productive guy, you don't get a pick, a PBU, or somebody get a catch on, you're just like, all right, now we looking at you a little funny. But I will say, man, another safety though that definitely was catching my eye. I don't know how he fits with us per se just yet, but Tyke Smith from Georgia, bro, was giving me Bob Sanders vibes, bro. He about 5'9", 206, rangy. He getting PBUs. He flies around, man. He was flashing a lot out there. Like I said, I got to go back and watch another, like I want to watch him now, like a Georgia game to see him in that setting. But, man, I was definitely impressed with some of his ranginess and his ability to go up there and, like I said, attack the football and stuff like that too, man. Today's episode is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. You know, the top-rated sports booking app in all of North America. I mean, it's safe, secure, and, of course, it is reliable. And even though we are getting to the final game of the NFL season, we do know that you got action because you got the big game this weekend. And who doesn't want to have a little fun, potentially making some money in the big game while you're watching it, right? So, beautiful way to do that is like this, man. When you download that Sportsbook app, you're going to need to make that first deposit, minimum $5. But if you use the promo code MOATS, M-O-A-T, you will receive up to $200 in free draft deposit bonus money. I was about to mess that all up. But more importantly, we understand that sometimes you can struggle. Sometimes you might have a gambling problem. You might even need crisis counseling or even referral services. Well, if you live in New York, you see it's a beautiful number right there that you could text. But you know, for everybody else, the number to dial is 1-800-GAMBLER. I said a 1-800-GAMBLER.